Big welcome to Manhattan, Kansas here on Fox Sports 1. Big 12 battle between Oklahoma and Kansas State. The weather, it's chilly, windy, 26 degrees. But the good news, the sun has broken here in Manhattan, Kansas. Head coach, good matchup today. Bob Stoops, head coach of the Sooners, and with a win today will bypass Barry Switzer as the all-time winningest coach at Oklahoma. On the other side of the field, Bill Snyder runs the Kansas State program. The Cats, remember, the reigning Big 12 champions a year ago. So Oklahoma, they beat Iowa State last week in Norman 48-10. The Sooners, Joey, ran for over 400 yards. Kansas State, they're on a streak, 4 straight wins. Jack Kentelly kicked that 41-yard field goal in the final seconds to take the heart out of TCU, 33-31.
Well, yeah, Trevor Knight came in last week for an injured Blake Bell and did what he did in his very first collegiate game, which was run the football for over 100 yards. People forget that Trevor Knight was the starting quarterback for the Oklahoma Sooners coming out of camp this year. So yes, Blake Bell is out, but they have a very capable replacement, and what looks to be the replacement of a quarterback who's going to be there for a long time. Kansas State, after starting 2-4, has really flipped the switch, and that win against TCU last week exemplifies the steady play of this Kansas State team and the way they've turned this season around.
So Oklahoma won the toss. They chose to defer, and they're going to kick away to start this game. Things warming up. Cold morning in Manhattan. Let's play football. Lockett, no chance on the return as the ball bounces into the end zone. Touchback, and Kansas State will have the football to start the afternoon. It is a dual quarterback system, Joey, for Bill Snyder. He starts today with Jake Waters, the junior college transfer out of Iowa Western Community College.
You know, I don't think any coach could implement a 2-quarterback system any better than Coach Snyder has. But Jake Waters, a junior college transfer, threw for 39 touchdowns and only 3 picks, has done a very nice job adapting to this Kansas State offense, which will rely on him not just throwing, but running the football as well.
With Kansas State ready to go, 6-4 on the season, 4 straight wins in their pocket. And they're going to start on the ground. They give it to 33. Hubert finds a big hole and pushes his way to the 40-yard line. First down on the first play of this game in Manhattan.
Well, fitting that John Hubert takes that first play. He's one of our impact players. He's done a fantastic job over the last 4 games, running for 373 yards, averaging nearly 100 a game. Tyler Lockett is an explosive player, not just as a kick returner, but a wideout as well. On the defensive side of the ball, look for Eric Stryker coming off the edge, and look for Aaron Colvin breaking up passes in the secondary.
Backs are split with Waters in the shotgun. Hubert was in the Wildcat, took the snap, and now whistle stop play. Alan Eck, our referee today. And the call was delay of game. So Wildcat again as Hubert is in the shotgun, takes the snap, reads it, tries to hit the edge. Oklahoma strings it out, and he falls back to the 27-yard line, and a big loss of about 10, call it 9. Gabe Lynn made the initial hit, the free safety for Oklahoma.
You know, Craig, when you run that Wildcat type look with a running back in the backfield, it allows the defense to bring not just an 8th guy into the box, but a 9th guy up to stop the run, because there's no threat of the pass. When Kansas State runs the football out of that set with their quarterback, there's still a threat of a pass, so the safety has to stay back and honor that.
Waters now back at shotgun. As we see Snyder, a little trickery here early with the Wildcat. Play clock runs down. There's that read option. Waters cuts back up the middle and is knocked down hard at the 30-yard line. Dominique Alexander, Frank Shannon, the middle linebacker, and a pickup of 3.
Well, Craig, you're going to see Kansas State's quarterbacks today almost look like they hesitate going into the hole. But what they do is they actually read the linebackers. They'll set up the blocks and watch the linebackers. If the linebacker comes up and fills the hole, they're going to throw the ball. If they stay back and play coverage, he's going to follow his block up into the hole. You're going to see the delay of the quarterback, but that's on purpose.
3 wide receivers, top of your screen. Low snap taken by Waters, and he is knocked down hard. Off the edge came the free safety, Gabe Lynn, his 2nd sack of the season. And Kansas State forced to punt.
Here we go, coming off the edge. On the backside, this was the play before with, Eric Stryker coming off the backside.
Krause set to punt away for Kansas State inside his own 10-yard line. Saunders waiting for the punt. High hanger. And a fair catch into the sun at the 35-yard line. It's a little shaky start for Kansas State. Oklahoma has the football. Trevor Knight, the redshirt freshman from San Antonio. And Joe, you mentioned earlier, he's got great set of legs. Ran last week against Iowa State for 123 yards and a touchdown.
Well, that's right. He's a running quarterback. He is truly a runner. Only has 272 yards, 4 touchdowns throwing the ball this season. But what he does is he brings that explosive element to an offense that was really missing it over the last 6 games.
Blake Bell out, concussed last week, so Knight gets the call. He went right, now turns left. And as you mentioned, the runner, and powers his way down to the 44-yard line. Let's check impact players.
Well, up front, Gabe Eichert is the rock of that offensive line, the All-American candidate. And outside, Jalen Saunders has done a fantastic job of really picking up the void when Sterling Shepard was out. On the defensive side of the ball, pay attention to Ryan Mueller. He will be all over the field, an incredibly hard worker on that defense for Kansas State.
Nice gain of 7 on first down. 2nd down, 3 on a rollout is Knight. Throws, fires, ball caught along the sideline at the 42-yard line. There's Saunders, the hands, his 45th reception. And a gain of 15.
I love what Oklahoma did with Trevor Knight there. Get him out of the pocket, get him on the edge, force the Kansas State defense to choose. Am I going to stay back in pass coverage and allow Trevor to run, or am I going to come up and tackle him, which then creates open throwing lanes?
Play the lone back. He gets the handoff, follows his blockers, finds that hole, and is punched down in the secondary back at the 36-yard line. Joy, let's look at today's Chevy keys to success.
Well, Oklahoma, you got to adapt. You got players out. You got suspensions. You got concussions, injuries. You have to pick up the slack where guys are missing. And Kansas State, just don't change. Don't ever change. Just do what you do. Be consistent. It's what dug you out of that 2-4 hole to win 4 straight games. It's Bill Snyder. It's the attitude that he instills here.
Oklahoma working against the number 4 ranked defense in the Big 12. And Kansas State gives up the first down to the 31-yard line. Ripkowski, the fullback. I love that name. Throwing the block out front for the first down. If that isn't football, I don't know what is. Ripkowski,
well, exactly.
The fullback.
Ripkowski is filling in for an injured Trey Miller, who was really the rock of this offense, the do-everything, fullback, H-back, out of the block, backfield, blocking, pass protection. He did everything, but Ripkowski's done a nice job filling in for Trey Miller.
Kansas State showing pressure on the edge. In the pocket goes Knight, throws far side, pitch and catch. Easy catch for Deron Neal as he goes up against Kip Daly on the far side. Move the chains, 1st and goal.
Well, look here. Neal has single coverage. There's nobody else out there because Trevor Knight is such a threat running the football that Kansas State has to commit an extra guy into stopping the run, which allows the receivers to have free access outside. They have all the room in the world to run their routes, and Trevor Knight has all the room in the world to throw it because of simply the threat of his ability to run the ball.
20-yard pickup. You look at the success in the red zone this season for Oklahoma. They know it well. And they've got fresh downs, 1st and goal at the 9-yard line. Knight the handoff. Here comes Clay, and he is thrown back maybe a yard at the 8-yard line. Nice hit by the strong safety, Dante Barnett. First time today, let's get a thought from Ryan Neese.
Craig and Joey, Trevor Knight's doing a great job moving this offense down the field right now. And this is one of the things that Coach Stoops told us on the phone. We've got to find a way to start fast in this game, especially on the road against the Kansas State defense has been playing very well. If we can score early in this game, we give ourselves a chance. This offense right now looks really good, guys.
Load up the near side with 3 wide receivers. Knight shotgun. They ride the ball in the belly of Clay. Kansas State reads it. Ryan Mueller, you're going to see him a lot today. 16 tackles for losses on the season, along with 10.5 sacks. He is everywhere.
Well, make it 17 now. I mean, he leads the Big 12 in tackles for loss. He's 6th in the country. He leads the Big 12 in sacks with 10.5. He's 3rd in the country. This guy is a workhorse.
K-State tough against the run, just 137 yards allowed a game. And now they've held tight here on 3rd and goal. Knight from the shotgun, stands in the pocket, goes up top, touchdown, Oklahoma. Wide open, Sterling Shepard, and just grabbed his 6th touchdown reception of the season. A 12-yard touchdown.
Craig, you're going to see Sterling Shepard right here in the slot just run a simple post route. Beats the, I mean, there's nothing special about that, nothing fancy. He just ran a good route and beat the defender. I'm really impressed with the way Trevor Knight has come out and thrown this football to start the ballgame.
Honeycutt jumps in for the PAT. He's now hit 34 of 35 on the year. And yes, Oklahoma with Trevor Knight marches downfield. Shepard catches a 12-yard touchdown. Sooners up by 7.
Welcome back to Manhattan, where Oklahoma has just driven the length of the field, and they did it with, Craig, they did it with backups. They did it with Trevor Knight, who's taken Blake Bell's spot. They did it with Brennan Clay, who's taken Damian Williams' spot, and they did it with Sterling Shepard, who caught the touchdown pass coming off of injury. Ryan, when you have this many guys filling in spots, how do you treat this as a defender?
It's very difficult. You got new guys coming in. You're trying to figure things out. But I'll tell you, at this point in the season, every team across the country has suffered injuries. It's the next man up mentality. Both of those guys, Knight and Clay, did a great job on that first drive, stepping up, making plays for their offense, and putting points on the board.
So another touchback off that Oklahoma kickoff, and now we're going to see Daniel Sams. We saw Waters on that opening drive. Now Sams, who averages 5.5 yards per carry. He can throw the football. Against TCU last week, Joey, 19 carries, 109 yards, and a touchdown.
Well, he's a running back. I mean, he really is a running back playing the quarterback position, but his ability to run allows him to throw the ball effectively. He's completing almost 75% of his passes this year, but that's because he's such a fantastic runner.
So Sams in that shotgun takes the glance sideline. Down 7 is Kansas State, their second offensive series. You'll see that match of Waters and Sams all afternoon. Sooners show blitz on the corner. Sams the carry, and he picks up 2, maybe 3, up to the 27-yard line. Ryan, I'd like to know, as the former linebacker, how do you prepare for 2 quarterbacks?
Craig and Joey, it's not easy, but coming into this game, you got to try to understand what the tendencies are by both of those players. Both of these players possess different strengths. Obviously, Daniel Sams is a much better runner. One of the things that I would do, and I'm guessing Oklahoma's doing, is when he carries the ball, they're concentrating on making sure that they tackle him well, wrap him up, and when Jake Waters is in the game, obviously they're going to concentrate on their coverage, making sure their technique is sound on that end.
All right, Ryan, good point. 2nd down 7. Again, the carry, and he's hit hard. 1, 2, 3, 4 red helmets right on the top of Sams, led by Charles Tapper.
Well, Ryan, you made a great point. Tackling Daniel Sams is the key. We were here midway through the season, and he broke tackles against Baylor and went for 199 yards. If you don't contain him at the line of scrimmage, he will break it, and he will break it for big plays.
Well, Sams comes out. Waters jumps in on a 3rd down and 5. Kansas State at the 30-yard line. Low snap. Waters stands in that pocket, feels the pressure, ball released, and it's incomplete. Middle of the field at the 35-yard line. Each time, Joey, that Waters is trying to pass the ball, heavy pressure from Oklahoma.
Well, Oklahoma brings pressure all over the place. They're going to bring it from both edges. They're going to bring it from the secondary. But what they like to do on 3rd down is bluff that pressure. They'll show a look where they've got everybody at the line of scrimmage, force you to make a call to protect it, and then drop people out into coverage. Don't be fooled by the disguise on 3rd down by Oklahoma.
Mark Krause with the punt, went off the side of his foot on this cold day, takes a left turn, and it takes a bounce out of bounds at the 42-yard line. Oklahoma back at it offensively, up by 7 on the road in Manhattan. Welcome back to the Little Apple, Manhattan, Kansas. 20th ranked Oklahoma, already with a 7-0 lead, 8-2 on the season. Joey, you look back, they're 6-0 versus teams 500 and below. And the Sooners also 2-2 with teams above 500. 2 losses. They won their first 5, remember, the 2 losses, Texas and then the big one at Baylor.
Well, yeah, Texas, a big win in the Red River rivalry. Blake Bell had a couple interceptions in that game. One to Chris Whaley, defensive tackle, who took it back for a touchdown. But it was really the mistakes in those 2 losses against Baylor and Texas that hurt Oklahoma.
Brendan Clay, the man in motion. There's a hot pass off the hand of Knight, falls incomplete. Shepard, who caught that 12-yard touchdown, the intended receiver. That last drive, the opening drive, Joey, was impressive, as you mentioned, and Knight was impressive. 3 for 3 throwing on that drive, and he also ran once for 7 yards.
Well, that was what really impressed me, Craig, was Trevor Knight's ability to throw the ball. But like we said, because he simply possesses the threat of running the ball, he's getting single coverage out there, and he has receivers that can run great routes and get open.
4 wide receivers set. They play the option, and Knight's got running room. Throws a shift arm, hits the edge at the 40, and runs out of bounds smartly at the 37-yard line of Kansas State. And you know what? Clay was the motion man. Went outside, made a nice seal block to punch him outside.
God, this is exactly what we talked about in the open, was Trevor Knight's ability to break big plays. Look, Blake Bell got the reputation of the Belldozer because he punched in touchdowns, 24 touchdowns over the last couple years, but they were in goal line situations. He's not the explosive guy. Trevor Knight has the ability to break big plays, and you saw it right there.
2 carries now for 28 yards. Knight wants to throw, does, over the middle, picked, taken away by Randall Evans. And the first turnover of the day belongs to Kansas State. Knight makes a mistake. Evans with his 2nd pick of the season. Kansas State slows down Oklahoma. Evans, the interception. They'll have the ball down 7 on Fox Sports 1.
Craig, you see Trevor Knight on the sideline talking to his coaches after the interception. Look, I don't blame Trevor Knight for what happened. Look at the DB's leverage. His hips are facing the sideline. Right at this moment here, right there, when Jalen Saunders puts his foot in the ground, he starts to make that motion like he's going to cross the face of the DB. Instead, he goes behind him. If I'm a quarterback and I see my wide receiver put his foot in the ground, I'm assuming that he's crossing face of the defender, and I cut that ball loose. That's the right read and the right throw by Trevor Knight, just a miscommunication.
Opportunistic Kansas State defense with the interception. A 2-yard gain on that handoff, and there you go. They're going to talk about it as they go off the field.
And that's what I love, is a wide receiver coming back to his quarterback and saying, look, okay, here's what I saw. What did you see? How can we get on the same page? Because Jalen Saunders is a fantastic route runner. He has the ability to put his foot in the ground and dictate, tell the quarterback where he's going, and they need to be on the same page going forward.
2nd down 8. Waters stands and throws. Tough pass far side. It's caught. Lockett breaks a tackle. Oh, so dangerous. And he's tripped up at the 45-yard line. Aaron Colvin missed the initial tackle. You let Lockett in open space and watch out.
And I love what Tyler Lockett has done as a wide receiver this year. Look, everybody knows he was an All-American a couple years ago as a kick returner, and when you get him in space, he's fantastic. But he's developed as a wide receiver this year to the point where he's someone you can rely on as a quarterback. Get him the ball in open space, and he can make plays.
Yeah, Lockett's overcome some hamstring issues. He's running free and easy. There's a quick toss far side. Once again, Lockett back-to-back passes, and Kansas State moves a change to the Oklahoma 39-yard line.
And how about the protection for Jake Waters there back in the pocket? B.J. Finney anchoring that offensive line allowed Jake Waters to start on the left side. He looked at his slant and then came all the way back across the field to find Lockett on the sideline.
Kansas State trying to find the end zone after that interception by the secondary. There's the pump. Waters man coverage up top. Right through the hands of Lockett.
And Craig, they went after the freshman there. They went after Zach Sanchez, the freshman DB, and they've thrown 2 hitch routes to Tyler Lockett so far. Just a quick little 6-yard stop. This time they ran a hitch and go. Tyler Lockett, like we said, great in open field, put his foot down, stopped, faked the hitch, took off up the sideline on the freshman. Just missed the route, though.
8 catches last week against TCU, a touchdown of 74 yards. Joey, he's got that breakability and nearly had a touchdown for Kansas State. 3rd down and 3. Waters back to the air. And on the hands of Terrell Miller. And a 1st down just inside the 35-yard line. Ryan, you had a good look, did you not, with Lockett coming at you?
I absolutely did. I was standing in the back of the end zone, Craig and Joey, and one of the things that I noticed is this offense is going with the wind, and I wonder if Jake, when he threw that ball in the air, that the ball sailed on him a little bit, got caught in the wind, and that's why he missed his target. Very rarely do you see him miss a wide-open Lockett down the sidelines. The wind could be a factor down here, guys.
It is brisk, and it's moving from left to right here in Manhattan. Kansas State going right into the teeth of that cold November wind. Waters, low snap, throws wide open through the hands of Miller, who just made that 1st down catch. And again, maybe that ball sailed a bit. And plus, when it's cold, those hands just don't come alive easy.
Well, it's let's be honest, when you're throwing a ball in 20-degree weather and that thing's coming flying at you, it's a brick. I mean, these leather footballs harden up. I remember playing in Green Bay against the Packers late in December, night game, Sunday night kickoff, and that ball gets real cold, and when it's flying at you, it's tough to catch.
So the frozen tundra of Green Bay. Daniel Sams checks in now for Waters. They're going to run, finds a little opening up front, but Oklahoma closes the door after a pickup of 1. The strong safety Quentin Hayes with the initial stop. Fast moving first quarter, so we roll up on 4 minutes left, and it's 3rd and long for Kansas State.
Well, 3rd and long, you see Jake Waters coming back into the ballgame. Daniel Sams ran that play a moment ago, but Kansas State will switch their quarterbacks at will. There's no real rhyme or reason. It's a feel thing.
It's exactly what Bill Snyder told us. There is no rhyme, no reason. We don't game plan it, we go with feel. And Waters from the shotgun stands in the pocket, pressured, and is going to lay down at the 41. Gino Grissom from the right side, number 85.
Well, this is just a typical Mike Stoops pressure here. Defensive line shifting, get into their front, trying to catch the offensive line before they can make their front calls, hoping that somebody's going to get free. And Oklahoma has so many guys on this defense. They don't have one stud. They have guys everywhere, young players who are emerging and becoming fantastic pass rushers.
Krause will punt for the 3rd time, punting into the wind. It should help, and it does. That ball dies and takes a high bounce, and the special teams dig it out at the 3-yard line. Oh, the emotions of college football. Krause pumps a fist. Oklahoma at their own 2 when we come back. Oklahoma, 2-yard line, 98 yards from pay dirt. Trevor Knight in his end zone. And up the middle goes Oklahoma to the 7-yard line. Clay knocked down by Slaughter, the middle linebacker. Interesting story with Blake. Last year redshirted because of Arthur Brown, who was the defensive player of the year in the Big 12. Slaughter came back to take that middle position this year as a senior.
Well, how many people would walk into Coach Snyder's office and say, you know what, for the good of the team, I think I should redshirt? Just a great example of what Bill Snyder brings to this program and what he instills in his players.
2nd down, smothered. Clay barely got his motor running, and he's knocked down hard by Finau, number 94, the defensive end at the 6-yard line.
Well, something a little bit out of character here. Watch the corner coming off the top of the screen here for Kansas State. Kansas State usually a very sound, not an aggressive defense, play coverage and force you to march down the field. That time bringing a little bit of pressure. deep in Oklahoma's own territory.
Oh, this crowd's alive on a cold day. 3rd down and 6. Right at the 7-yard line of Oklahoma. Knight, flush from the end zone. Tries to hit the edge, still feels pressure. Dodges trouble. Look at that. Houdini, escapability, all the above. And he's bumped down after the 1st down at the 13-yard line.
Oh, God, I love the move that he made out on the edge. Watch here. Such a veteran decision. Forces the defender to get up in the air like he's pump faking the ball like he's going to throw it. Instead, he has the speed, the athletic ability to get him up in the air and then turn the corner and get the 1st down. This is what Trevor Knight brings to this offense.
Now, he faked out Evans, who picked him off on that last series. And Oklahoma gets out of a hole. 1st and 10 at the 13-yard line. Up the middle. Nice run. Clay averages over 6 yards a carry. Barnett, the strong safety, made the tackle. And once again, Aaron Ripkowski, the fullback, throwing that lead block. A pickup of 15.
Well, I keep hitting on it. Even when Trevor Knight isn't running the football, you have to honor it. And what happened on that play is the defensive end stays out. They run the option, but the defensive end has to stay out, cannot collapse down on the running back, Brennan Clay, and consequently, he has a bigger hole to run through.
Under a minute to play in the opening quarter. Oklahoma trying to find some rhythm with Clay in the backfield. And to the 35 goes Clay. That'll bring up 2nd down, about 3. Joey, impressive that this drive started, remember, deep in Oklahoma territory, 2-yard line. And they punched it out now to the 35 as the final seconds tick down in the opening quarter. Option. Clay breaks 1, 2 tackles, 1st down, and they'll mark him at the 35, call it the 45-yard line, and a pickup of 10. They're ripping off big chunks right here.
Well, they are. They've moved this entire field just running the football. This is reminiscent of the old 80s Oklahoma teams. The teams that'll grind you out and just take away this clock.
So we played 15 minutes in Manhattan. Oklahoma on the road up 7. A Shepherd touchdown of 12 yards from Trevor Knight. We'll be back on Fox.
Guys, you see Ty Zimmerman there on the sideline. Injured last week. This is a huge loss for the Kansas State defense, and you can see it already in this ball game. Not just missing his 70 tackles, which is 2nd on the team, but his emotional leadership, Ryan.
Joe, you're absolutely right. They are missing his emotional leadership and his physical presence on the field. And every time we sit down with opposing coaches, that's the guy they highlight. And that's got to be the ultimate compliment when the opposing coach gives you some love.
Ryan, 7th play of this drive, all run plays, and a pickup of 4. Time to look at our forward stat comparison and the 1st quarter numbers. Well, the rush yards just jump out at you.
There you go. I mean, we mentioned it. This is like the Barry Switzer type teams back in Oklahoma. You know, back in the 80s. They are going to run the football. They're going to run it down Kansas State's throat if they can. And Kansas State has to bow up and force Trevor Knight to throw this ball.
2nd down, 6. Knight reads the option, pulls it in, and a keeper, and a 1st down. He'll fall past the 45, and Mueller makes the tackle, number 44 for Kansas State. Mueller, a junior out of Leawood, Kansas.
You know, Ryan Mueller kind of got hung out to dry there. I'm going to be honest. He was playing right in the middle, and when you play against an option team, you have to play your responsibility. If your responsibility is to tackle the running back, then you got to tackle the running back and trust that someone's going to come back for the quarterback. And right now, Kansas State is not doing that.
1st and 10, big hole up the middle. Brennan Clay running free as he was behind the big left tackle, Tyrus Thompson. OU's line goes 320, 316. Eichert, the center, 298. Irwin the right guard, 314. Williams, the right tackle, 321.
Well, the ironic thing is that small guy right in the middle, Gabe Eichert, he's the one who controls things. Preseason, first-team All-American. He's first-team All-Big 12 last year. The guy's graduated already with a 4.0. He is a smart football player. He's a strong football player, and he directs traffic on this offensive line, which is pushing Kansas State around right now.
OU from the I formation. Clay, the handoff, hits the edge. Needed a yard. He's going to be just from the spot. Looks like just short of the first down, about a half a yard. Good hit by Truman and Roberts.
Watch this hole that Brennan Clay runs through. It starts with the Eichert right there, and they just wash everything down and just give, I mean, a hole you could drive a truck through.
One reason why he runs for over 6 yards a carry, the senior out of San Diego. Third down and short. Play clock under 5. Under center on a keeper. Knight pushes the pile to the 31. First down, OU. Joe, I think it's probably safe to say it's a domination thus far for Oklahoma. Knight leading the way. Clay with 58 yards on 11 carries, and that Sterling Shepard touchdown catch at 12 yards. The lone score thus far.
Well, yeah, and it doesn't even show Trevor Knight's rushing yards right now. I think you take that interception off of Trevor Knight. We talked about it earlier. There's a little miscommunication by he and the receiver, but Oklahoma is doing it in all phases right now.
12th play of this drive. Mueller with the tackle on Roy Finch, who just jumped in to give Clay a breather. Remember, Damian Williams suspended for this game, so they're a little, well, are they? Are they a little slight in the backfield or not?
Yeah, you might expect him to be, but Damian Williams being out, I think just opens the door for Brennan Clay. Brennan Clay isn't a touchdown leader right now on the team, but has a few more rushing yards than Damian Williams coming into this ball game, but it opens things for Roy Finch. I love watching this senior run, just a hard-working run.
High snap, second down 7 on a rollout goes Knight. He's going to tuck and run. Wide open space. And slides inside the 10. I tell you, he's a smart football player. Looked like he was going to maybe go out of bounds of the 15. Moved the hips, Joey. Got himself to the 8-yard line. First and goal.
Well, watch here as he gets out onto the edge. Here's where you miss Ty Zimmerman. Dylan Schellenberg is replacing him. He's in coverage, has his back to the line of scrimmage, trying to find the receiver coming across, and consequently nobody is there to make a play on Trevor Knight. Kansas State is missing Ty Zimmerman right now.
13 plays, 13 rush plays. There's another keeper wide open, jumping in, touchdown. Touchdown, Trevor Knight, a 98-yard drive for Oklahoma.
Wow. And Trevor Knight has done this twice now to Ryan Mueller. Watch here on the end. Right there, Ryan Mueller is going to get caught in no man's land. Do I tackle the running back? Do I tackle the quarterback? He picked neither, and he picked wrong.
Second rushing touchdown of the season for Knight. And the PAT by Honeycutt is good. Impressive drive. They run the ball right at the heart of Kansas State. They cap it with an 8-yard run, and the Sooners of Oklahoma by 14.
Guys, we talked about it a minute ago. When you defend an option team, you have to stick to your responsibilities. Right here, Ryan Mueller, his job is to take the running back. You have to crash down and take that and rely on your safety to come up and make the tackle on the quarterback. When you don't trust that your teammates are going to make their plays, stick to their responsibilities, you end up trying to do too much, and in the end, you do nothing. Ryan, it's tough to defend an option team.
Joe, you're absolutely right. Extremely difficult to defend an option team. And one of the things they did is they used Ryan Mueller's aggressiveness to his disadvantage. When that tackle crashes down, Joey, he's got to set his feet and sit right there. Now that gives him the ability to play really both. He can play the running back and the quarterback. But because he exploded up the line of scrimmage and exploded into the backfield, now all of a sudden he's in no man's land, and he doesn't play either one, and it leads to a touchdown.
Ronda led to a 14-play, 98-yard touchdown. Short kick taken, Lockett, 10-yard line. He's got a wall of blockers. still on his feet, tiptoes past the 25, on his feet, watch out, breaks another tackle. Oh, this guy is something to watch.
I love watching this guy return kicks.
Oh my, he was down once, twice, and he's down at the 40-yard line. College football continues today on Fox Sports 1 when rivals collide. Cal takes on 9th-ranked Stanford, while over on Fox, 17th-ranked Arizona State takes on 14th-ranked UCLA in a key Pac-12 South matchup. In the nightcap, it's Kansas and Iowa State. Fox Sports, your home for college football all season long. And Lockett is on his back after the return of 30 yards. And remember, Joey, all season long, he's been battling that hamstring.
Oh, you hate to see this. A great young man. Had a chance to meet his father, Kevin, before the game. Also a kick returner wide receiver here at Kansas State. And when you see somebody who's developed, there you go, he's up and running back to the sideline. That's what you love to see. When you see somebody who's developed from an explosive kick returner into an all-around great wide receiver, it tells you about their dedication. It tells you about their commitment to the team, to the game. We had a chance to talk with him before the start of the season,
yes.
And what a fantastic young man.
Yeah, we were here in week 1 when the upset around college football kind of rang out. It was North Dakota State knocked off the reigning Big 12 champs. Been a bit of an uphill battle for Bill Snyder, but over the last 4 weeks, everything has come back together. They played some hustle defense. They've gotten back to basics, and they have played some solid football. But now down 14 on their home field. Waters sets and throws on the run. Curry, Sexton.
Craig, we talked about this in the open. This is what Kansas State is going to do. It looks like their quarterback is hesitating going into the hole, but what he's doing is he's reading the linebacker. If the linebacker steps up and fills the hole, he's simply going to throw a slant, like a little jump pass. The old school jump pass you used to see. The wide receiver simply fills the hole that the linebacker vacated. If the backer stays out, the quarterback's going to continue to run. If he fills the hole, he's going to throw the slant in behind, just another version of the option.
Now this is a big series for Kansas State as Waters throws his shoulders to the sideline. The ball poked away off the hands of Lockett at the 10-yard line. Quentin Hayes poked that ball away, the strong safety.
And he had a chance to make a big play there. I know that he's going to be upset with himself, but just great timing. Hayes almost knocked Lockett's hands into his body and like you said, forced the ball away at the last minute. Just a nice play by Hayes, and I'm sure that Lockett really wants that play back.
Lockett lines up with Terrell Miller. Top of your screen. 2 wideouts at the bottom. Second down 10. Play clock. Just got it away. Waters up top. Watch out. It's a walk in the park. Lockett trots in. Touchdown, Kansas State. Went right back to Lockett. Sixth touchdown reception for Lockett.
Well, look here. The underneath coverage, the underneath route, by Tremaine Thompson draws both defenders on the coverage. Neither one of them takes Lockett, and he walks into the end zone. It couldn't have been any easier.
I think he was surprised as Quentin Hayes, you could see, just pulled up and said, we blew it. Blown coverage in the secondary, and Lockett jumps in the touchdown. PAT up and good. Kansas State, a much-needed touchdown. They've cut the Sooners' lead in half. Lockett runs in 14-7.
Hey, guys, the stacked look by Kansas State wide receiver creates confusion in the Oklahoma secondary. They're playing man coverage out here on the edge, but both defenders take the underneath route. Right here is the safety. Comes up and takes the underneath route as well, allowing Lockett to run right by. It was the stacked set by the Kansas State wide receivers that created the confusion. They weren't sure who had the underneath guy. They weren't sure who had the deep guy. Coach Stoops trying to figure things out with his safety on the sideline.
Yeah, the talk continues with Quentin Hayes. Got his back turned. And
what, did you see him there? He's showing his hand coming in front. He's saying the guy went underneath. He's saying that was my responsibility, and coach is telling him no, it's the other it's the other DB's responsibility. They have to figure that out, or else Kansas State is going to continue to run those sets.
Lockett, 48-yard touchdown, makes it 14-7. And they'll touch it back. Time for a Lowe's Never Stop Improving game break. Let's check in for the first time. Here's Patrick O'Neill.
Hey, Craig, thanks. 8-0 Deacons over the Blue Devils. Guys, back to you.
And they're doing that on the road. Patrick, thanks so much. Here, 14-7 in Manhattan, Oklahoma. Last time they had the football, 14 plays. I mean, they just ran the football straight at Kansas State. 98-yard drive. Knight on a rollout. Kansas State on the chase, and he'll toss it away. Throws it away out of bounds. Schellenberg, number 20, who's filling in for Zimmerman at the free safety spot with pressure.
Well, let's give him a little bit of credit there. He's got some big shoes to fill with Ty Zimmerman, but Schellenberg did a very nice job there of corralling Trevor Knight against the sideline. Really cutting off all the lanes for him to run, forcing him to throw the ball out of bounds.
Well, the interesting part of this drive to see how Kansas State, what kind of changes they've made defending Trevor Knight. Second down, 10. Big hole right side, and tripped up is Clay. And that hole was opened off the right side. Darrell Williams, and again Ripkowski. He's had one reception, Joey, all year long, has not carried the football. What his job is simple: open up holes.
And they're giant holes right now. I mean, you could drive a truck through some of these holes. This offensive line, fullback, tight end for Oklahoma is doing an incredible job up front, pushing Kansas State around.
1st and 10 from the 38-yard line. Again, there's that patient running of Clay. Waits for the hole on that cutback, and Jonathan Truman, the will weak side linebacker, with the tackle.
Craig, look at this, 7.5 yards per play. Every time they run a play, they're getting nearly a first down. Kansas State has to do something. They have to beat a block. They have to beat win an individual matchup.
You're the old quarterback. 2nd down 3. That's an easy call.
Your playbook. I mean, you can take a shot. I love second and short because you can take a shot down the field and still come back and have 3rd and short.
Knight from the shotgun. On the option, he'll keep it. Tries to hit the edge and does. Kansas State strings him out. Beautiful job by the purple defense. Dante Barnett on top of that tackle. The strong safety had 9 tackles last week against the Horned Frogs of TCU.
Well, watch Markel Bryant here, number 45. You'll see him coming into the picture. Great job. We talked about earlier how Ryan Mueller came too far up the field. Bryant sat there right on the line of scrimmage, forced Knight to go sideways instead of getting vertical up the field, stretched him out to his help. Very nice job defending that play by Kansas State's defense.
K-State trying to hold Oklahoma. 3rd down and 4 for the Sooners. Play clock at 5. Play clock to 2. Got the snap away. Knight, ball batted. And then caught by Saunders. It's going to be 4th down.
Well, this is what you needed if you're Kansas State.
Absolutely.
You got to get off the field after the last 2 drives where Oklahoma just did whatever they wanted to and ran the ball down your throat. Kansas State bowed up, got a big touchdown on their last drive, and now has a chance to tie up this ball game.
Now Jed Barnett will punt, his longest 56 on the season. Not a good kick off the side of his foot, and it takes an OU bounce as it rolls to the 16-yard line. 7:22 remaining in the first half in Manhattan. 14-7 OU. They won 4 straight, got the big win last week against TCU in the final seconds.
Well, Craig, and I gotta give you credit for always being the professional and staying unbiased as we've watched Kansas State lose 2 early games.
Can you believe that? What looked like a busted play. Tremaine Thompson gets the football from Waters, and this house is rocking.
Wow, after dropping the ball in the backfield, Kansas State just runs a little switch route, a scissors route, gets a natural pick on the wide receivers. And it didn't matter that Jake Waters had dropped the ball and his timing was off, because the switch route, the scissors route as you call it, created so much separation that he had all the room in the world to throw that ball even though it was late.
Well, Lockett got behind the secondary for a touchdown. Now Tremaine Thompson, another great threat on the outside for Kansas State, picks up big yards at the 41.
Well, Craig,
gain of 43.
We're going to take a look here, see if this ball was a catch. Remember, he has to possess it all the way through contact with the ground. That looks like a catch to me. Oh.
Well, he did one roll and then it kind of popped down on the other. He did make contact with the ground. And our replay official today, Jim Blackwood,
the key, Craig, is when he hits the ground, does this ball dislodge? Does it move at all? Right there.
Looks good.
And it looks good to me.
Rolls up.
Now as he comes out, he takes his other hand off the ball, and it looks as if he has the ball secured in his right hand. That looks like a catch to me. But going back, what I was going to say before I was so rudely interrupted by the fantastic pass by Jake Waters and catch by Tremaine Thompson was, it's got to be nice to see your alma mater doing well. I mean, and you're all, I got to give you a lot of credit. It was a thrill for me to be able to call a game at Oregon, and this is our third game we've had at Kansas State, and you've always been unbiased and unbiased professional, but it's got to be nice to see your alma mater turn it around and win 4 straight.
Well, back in the old days when I was here, wins, they just didn't, they just didn't come often. So the official review and the ruling does stand. Let's get a thought from Ryan Neese.
Joey and Craig, I'm watching Quentin Hayes, and we saw him on the previous drive give up the touchdown. He went to the sidelines, got an earful from his coaches. Then all of a sudden now he comes back. He gives up another play. These are the type of plays that a defensive play, you got to wipe that out of your mind. You got to focus on the next play. Even though you gave up a bad touchdown, you gave up a bad big play, you got to focus on the next one right now. Let's see how he responds. I would attack him again if I'm Kansas State.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, Ron, I wouldn't be surprised if Bill Snyder and company says, let's try it again and go to the strong safety side. As Waters stands in the pocket, good protection, slingshots it inside the 35-yard line, and Lockett locks it up at the 32-yard line. This time he goes up against Colvin, the left corner. Well, Kansas State nearly dead in the water early, down 14. They got the big play to make it 14-7, and they're on the move again with second down and short at the 32 of OU. This time Waters goes under center. Hand off Hubert. Tries to jump it outside. Needed only a yard, and looks like he got it just right at the 30-yard line. The nose tackle, number 93, Jordan Wade, a redshirt freshman, with the stop. Joey, we're looking at 2 different philosophies here today. Ground game, Oklahoma. Pass game, Jake Waters and Kansas State, getting it done on the offensive side.
And I don't say it's a surprise by Kansas State, the way they're throwing the ball, but the way that Daniel Sams has run the ball so far this season, I would have expected to see a lot more of Daniel Sams and a lot more of Kansas State running the ball, because his ability to run the ball has enabled John Hubert to come into his own over the last few weeks.
Now, this is Waters' 16th play. Goes up top. Lockett. Bingo. Touchdown. Kansas State. Again, they're picking on the secondary. Quentin Hayes. Cortez Johnson as well. But Lockett with the touchdown, his second of the afternoon.
God, and Lockett twice now. The last 2 weeks, last week against Jason Verrett and TCU, he put on one of the most incredible double moves that I've seen. A hitch and go. This week it was a slant and go on Cortez Johnson. Fakes the slant route, puts his foot in the ground, goes right up the sideline. Tyler Lockett is not just a kick returner, folks. He's an incredible wide receiver.
Patterson's PAT is good, and Lockett has brought Kansas State back. It's coming right at you. That ball 30 yards in the corner, and the Cats and Sooners.
Hey guys, as Quentin Hayes goes back into the middle of the field, it leaves Cortez Johnson on an island out here. And as soon as Tyler Lockett makes that move into a slant and Cortez Johnson drives it, nothing but green grass for Tyler Lockett to run up the sideline. You cannot expect Quentin Hayes to get all the way over the top from his safety position in the middle of the field. He needs more help from Cortez Johnson outside. And look, it doesn't matter who is playing DB right now. You can't cover Tyler Lockett.
Yeah, 5 catches, 116 yards, his 6th 100-yard receiving game of the season. Roy Finch, 5-yard line for Oklahoma. Well, he takes a pop on the numbers at the 26-yard line. Let's check in now with Ryan Neese.
Joey, Craig, we understand that Kansas State runs the dual quarterback system, but it looks like this game right now they're favoring Jake Waters. He has 19 plays versus Daniel Sams only has 3 plays. Jake Waters is doing a great job shredding this secondary of Oklahoma, and Oklahoma's doing a great job shutting down Daniel Sams when he comes in the game to try to run the ball. I think we're going to see a lot more of Jake Waters for the rest of the game.
You got to go with what works, and so far the arm of Waters and the hands of Lockett have scored 2 touchdowns here to tie this game up in the second quarter. Just over 5 minutes left before halftime. Roy Finch in the backfield with Knight. Stands up and throws a dart. Beautiful throw, 34-yard line. It'll be second down and short. Jalen Saunders with the reception. Again, Joey, it's one of those plays you like. It's kind of an open play for you. The playbook opens on second and short. Knight, straightaway handoff. Stumbles, and he's close to a first down. If the knee went down, let's see, they're going to mark him back at the 36. Slaughter in on the stop.
Well, Craig, this is an opportunity now for Oklahoma to reestablish what they had in the first quarter. They were pushing Kansas State's defensive line 2 and 3 yards off the line of scrimmage. They were dominating the line of scrimmage. On the last couple drives, Kansas State has made some adjustments and plugged up the holes. Oklahoma needs to get this first down and keep these chains moving.
And they do, off the right side, busting it. Watch out, Clay, untouched, 10-5 touchdown, 64 yards.
Who needs to move the chains when he can just score, right?
64 yards untouched. And again, it was Ripkowski. Look at 48.
Exactly.
Watch this hole bust
Ripkowski come
open.
through. He's just going to open up a hole that I could run through this thing. He just takes on that, oh my goodness, drops him backwards. And for the second straight week, Brennan Clay rips off a big run of over 50 yards.
Honeycutt will try the PAT. Oklahoma, you said, can they answer back, get back to what got them that 14-point lead, and they sure did in a hurry. 64 yards. Clay now 15 carries, Joey, for 139, all here in the first half.
Well, you know, it's interesting to see how this offensive drive was put together. The reason that Trevor Knight was able to throw that first pass for 8 yards is because everybody was up in the box trying to stop him from running the football. So now you create a one-on-one matchup with Jalen Saunders, and 9 times out of 10, Jalen Saunders is going to win that. And then, like you said, you're in second and short, you're in third and short, and your playbook just opens up. His ability to run the football and the adjustments that Kansas State is making to try and stop Trevor Knight is allowing the rest of this offense to thrive.
You know, for a moment, Oklahoma had kind of a Baylor moment. I mean, it was a minute.
Scored in 40 seconds.
It was a minute 20 drive, 3 plays, 73 yards, and that big breakaway run of 64. Just over 4 minutes left, and OU will kick with a 7-point lead. Lockett takes it, 2-yard line. Lockett. And he's knocked down inside the 20 at the 19. Let's get out to Rob Stone in our studios in LA. It's away. How about that game tonight? Baylor, Oklahoma State.
We're going to see if Baylor's for real tonight. If they can beat Oklahoma State in Stillwater, all the critics should disappear.
Play clock to 5. Waters down 7, pressured from behind. Flag is out. They'll toss it middle of the field, and it bounces incomplete.
Craig, it looks like you're going to have a hold here against Eric Stryker. Excuse me.
Holding, number 73, offense. Half the distance to the goal. Replay, first down.
The call is on Tavon Rooks holding Eric Stryker. But here's what the Big 12 looks like. Baylor obviously in the lead, making a push for the BCS championship. A big game tonight in Stillwater against Oklahoma State. Texas and Oklahoma hanging on. They're going to need some help if they're going to do it. But boy, those two teams at the top have looked extremely sharp. Baylor all year long, and then Oklahoma State, we had them last week against Texas.
In Austin.
In Austin, looked like a well-oiled machine.
Waters right at his goal line. He wants the middle of the field, throws it up for grabs. Lockett! 25, 20, 15, 10. Touchdown, Kansas State.
What do you say?
I can
What
say
do you say in this situation?
90 yards on the answer after Clay went 64 for Oklahoma.
Zach Sanchez, the freshman, has the unenviable task of trying to cover probably the best wide receiver in the Big 12, and Tyler Lockett just runs right by him there. Sanchez gets a hold of him, gets a little bit of jersey, but you can't keep up with him.
90 yards, 3 touchdowns in the quarter for Tyler Lockett. And remember, Joey, he was shaken up earlier. He's come back and he's punched in 3, and the PAT is up and good. We're not in Dodge City, we're in Manhattan. We got a shootout. 21-21.
Well, I'm starting to think if that school record of 237 yards that Lockett had against Texas a few weeks ago is going to be in jeopardy. 206 yards already and 3 touchdowns, and we're not even done with the first half.
Well, there's some issues, and you can tell with Bob Stoops. Look, what's going on in the secondary? They're trying to figure things out with Lockett.
Well, they're trying to figure things out with their entire defense. Look, there's only 2 seniors on this defense. You know, Coach Mike Stoops told us that earlier in the week, that they've got young guys out there that before the season started, they didn't have anybody with game experience. They were only 2 players that had really played any significant time. And it's going to take them a while, maybe all year, maybe into the start of next year, until they all feel comfortable with their responsibilities and can cut it loose and play free football.
Finch finds a hole, makes a cut, middle of the field, and he's to the 43-yard line. Oklahoma will have field position late here in the second quarter. 42 points scored. It was a 14-0 Oklahoma lead. Lockett made it 14-7. Lockett made it 14-all. Clay on a 64-yard run made it 21-14, and Lockett just went 90 to tie the game again at 21.
Just a typical day in the Big 12, right?
That's it. Scoring doesn't seem to be a problem around Big 12 country. Indeed, Oklahoma good for over 30 points a game. Kansas State at 34 points a game, 4th best in the Big 12. They're going to go on the ground to Clay. He hits the edge, stiffs arms his way, and bounce down at midfield. You know, it is 2 different looks, Joey. I was just thinking that, you know, one's about the pass, one's about the run.
But you wouldn't have thought it coming into this game. That's what's so perplexing about what Kansas State has done to Oklahoma. Oklahoma has been fantastic against the pass this year. And Kansas State, you think of them as a running team. Yes, Jake Waters throws the football well, but it's the legs of Daniel Sams that have really allowed this Kansas State offense to develop, allowed John Hubert to come into his own. It hasn't been the passing game that has gotten things going.
Another big hole left side, and the running impressive continues by Brennan Clay. Followed his right guard, Bronson Irwin. Irwin out of Mustang, Oklahoma. Clock runs under 3 minutes left in this wild first half.
Well, you've got a guy on both sides of the ball. on offense for Oklahoma. Brennan Clay already with 157 yards rushing, and we mentioned Kansas State and Lockett with 200 yards receiving. You're looking at some big numbers by the end of this ballgame.
Knight shotgun on an option read. He'll wants to pass and does. That ball is incomplete. Deron Neal. Just 6 rushing yards for Kansas State, yet we're tied at 21. That was incomplete, the call, near side.
Well, those are the routes there, Craig, that Trevor Knight needs to hit. That's being a freshman. He had one-on-one coverage. His receiver ran a nice route, gave him space, and those are the type of balls that he needs to throw if he's going to continue to progress as a quarterback.
2nd down and 10. Option, cut back. Kansas State plays the lanes. And the tackle made by Truman, the weak side linebacker.
Hey, Craig, look at what Kansas State did here. They loaded up everybody in this box. One safety right there in the middle of the field because they know, they saw in the last play that Trevor Knight is not always an accurate passer. So they're going to commit guys to the line of scrimmage, force him to throw the ball. And it's not until he won't be able to get out of those looks until he's able to throw the ball consistently and accurately.
Oklahoma 4 of 5 on 3rd down conversions. They need 10 to keep this drive alive. Knight throws, middle of the field, hit him on a dart at the 15-yard line. And the catch by Sterling Shepard.
Well, Trevor Knight must have heard me because that ball was effective, it was accurate, and it was down the field. It was a great throw and catch here by Trevor Knight. Sterling Shepard runs a post route across the safety's face. Ball was delivered right in the perfect spot in a place where Shepard could protect himself, still make a nice catch. Great throw and catch by Trevor Knight and Sterling Shepard.
A gain of 24. Oklahoma knocking on the door, tied at 21. 1:20 to play. First half. Middle of the pile. A couple of cats missed a tackle on Clay. Finally, Jonathan Truman with the stop. Clock runs up on a minute. Honeycutt, if you're thinking about a field goal, 19 of 22. As long as 44. This is just a PAT chip shot. If OU chooses.
Who's thinking about field goals today, Craig?
That's true.
I mean, seriously.
2nd down and 5. Both the Sooners and Cats with 3 timeouts if needed. Again, Clay the carrier. Makes a cut, stumble. He may have found the end zone, Joey, but he lost his footing back at the 8. And with timeout used by Oklahoma. 35 seconds left for Bob Stoops. Make sure you stay close. Coming up next, the Pizza Hut halftime show as we are hitting the stretch run of the college football season. How about this game? Ryan Neese down below, Craig Bowerjack, Joey Harrington. It was a 14-0 lead early. And then, of course, we saw Kansas State come back, and boy, they made a ball game so far.
Boy, and it's Tyler Lockett's ability to run crisp routes, definitive routes, give Jake Waters all the room in the world to throw this football. I mean, Jake Waters is, I don't want to say it's easy. It's never easy to throw a ball in college football, but the way Tyler Lockett is running his routes and giving his quarterback space to throw, there aren't too many quarterbacks in this country who would miss Tyler Lockett with how wide open.
Well, speaking of Lockett, look at the big plays here in the second quarter alone. Lockett's had big catches of 30 and 90. Clay, 64 yards. 3rd down and 3. And another timeout used by Oklahoma.
Their second charge of the half. 30 seconds in line.
Next Saturday on Fox Sports 1, and it's call another timeout. Let's check in with Ryan Neese.
Craig, Joey, you got to be a little frustrated as an offensive coordinator. You come out of a timeout, you go out there and line up, and then you call another timeout. You would have thought that they would have been ready to go, but hopefully on this play, these guys got the right play call.
Never a good thing to burn 2 in a row.
That's living with a redshirt freshman at the quarterback spot. He'll take the snap, throws. He's got his man short. Inside the 5 is Sterling Shepard. Clock under 30 seconds. They've got 1st and goal after that catch. K-State pops in the middle, and the knockdown. Dante Barnett. Big play. And Oklahoma, Joey, 1, 2, 3, and they're out of timeouts.
Well, exactly. That tackle for loss there is huge, not only because it takes Oklahoma further away from the goal line, but now you have to make the choice. Are you going to run the football with no timeouts left? Oklahoma has run the ball at will, but now you're probably going to have to put it on the shoulders of your freshman quarterback to throw the ball in the tight red zone here because you don't have any timeouts. That tackle for loss forced Oklahoma to use their final timeout and now probably put this score on the shoulders of Trevor Knight.
Now the ball is lined up on the near hash mark. See, they try to get field position. There's a look at the injured free safety, Ty Zimmerman. I know he'd like to be on the field. 21-21 with 21 seconds left. Take that to Vegas, huh? 2nd and goal. Knight with Clay alongside. Long snap count. Knight in the pocket, pumps. Dragged down from behind. Blake Slaughter. And now OU's got to hurry. OU's got to hurry. No timeouts, and there's the spike. Trevor Knight will give Oklahoma a shot at a field goal with 7 seconds left.
Hey, Craig, Kansas State ran what was called a cover 0 blitz. Here you go. All across, you got four defenders covering the wide receivers, and they're bringing everybody else. Kansas State rushed one more player than Oklahoma could block, and consequently, when Trevor Knight hesitated for that 1 minute, 1 second, it allowed Blake Slaughter to get in there and make the sack.
Michael Honeycutt for the lead from 30 yards out. Good. How about that second quarter? 2 seconds left before we go to halftime.
You think it's enough time for Tyler Lockett to score?
Oh, sure. I think probably the thought from Bob Stoops is to keep it away from Tyler Lockett. Well, Lockett's numbers, how impressive has Lockett been? 206 yards receiving on 6 catches for 3 touchdowns.
Well, that first one was easy. The second one was just a great route there on the slant and go, and then just beating the defender one-on-one, crossing the face of Zach Sanchez and simply outrunning the rest of the defenders. Tyler Lockett has evolved. He started as just purely an All-American kick returner, a guy who could make plays in space, and has turned into a wide receiver that a quarterback can count on.
K-State's going to play up on this ball a little bit. Let's see if Oklahoma kicks it away free. Nope, they're going to just squiv it. Up man takes it, takes the knee, and that's going to burn the final 2 seconds of this first half of play. K-State down early by 14. They rally back to tie, but the field goal has given Oklahoma the 24-21 lead at the half. We now go to Rob Stone, Coy Wire, and Petros Papadakis for the Pizza Hut halftime report. Through the air. Oklahoma won the toss. They allowed Kansas State to have it so they could open the second half with possession. And Finch is back to receive for the Sooners, and they own a lead of 24-21. Oklahoma 40 consecutive wins when they lead at the half. Let's see if that streak continues here in Manhattan. Brennan Clay trapped off 15-yard line. Field position has not been a big issue for Oklahoma. And Ryan Neese, here we go again. Oklahoma, Bob Stoops and company.
I had a chance to catch up with both coaches, and Bob Stoops said, hey, we have to shut down Kansas State's passing game, and we got to do that by playing better technique. We know Lockett's out there. We just got to do a better job covering him. Bill Snyder on the other side of the ball, he said we got to stop the run game, specifically the read option. We got to play better technique, and we got to do a better job calling the right scheme to shut down their run game.
All right, thank you, Ryan. Both coaches went to the locker room, going to try to make adjustments. Let's see how K-State does on the read option. Oklahoma straight away running. Ripkowski again out there as Randall rides down the runner Clay.
Here, right there, you said him, Greg. Great block. They call it a wham. They call it a wham play where they leave that defensive tackle unblocked, and either the H-back or the fullback comes across and cracks him because he's not expecting it. Opens up a huge hole there. Ripkowski doing a great job lead blocking for Brennan Clay.
I'll tell you, he ought to get a game ball. Ripkowski ripping big holes for his running back Clay. Tyrus Thompson, a little anxious.
False start, number 71, offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Flawless football for the Sooners, Joey, in the first half. First flag against Oklahoma in this ball game. Kansas State, only 2 flags for 14 yards. Both these teams so well coached, with Stoops on one side and Snyder on the other.
A calling card of Bill Snyder's teams. I mean, it really is. The discipline, the attention to detail. I was pausing there trying to think if I'd seen a flag at all today.
Shotgun. Knight. He's wrapped up inside the 30 at the 28-yard line, and the middle backer, Blake Slaughter, in on the stop.
Well, really nice job there by Brennan Clay. It looked like the read option, but Brennan Clay became the lead blocker, cut down Blake Slaughter on the edge, who was coming in to make the tackle, open up the hole for Trevor Knight. Everybody's getting in on the action. Ripkowski, the offensive line, Brennan Clay, everybody's opening up holes and doing their job blocking in this running game.
Second down. Knight wanted to throw. Instead, he tucks and runs, heads to the sideline, and runs it out at the 31. That brings up third down. Call it 6.
Well, a very key third down here. I mean, this is a chance for Kansas State to get off the field, get this crowd back into it after halftime. Everybody's been out trying to get warm there in the concourse, get a little cup of coffee. This is a chance to get Kansas State's crowd back into the ballgame. And you can see what Kansas State is doing. They're going to force Trevor to throw the ball. Right now, all the guys up by the line of scrimmage, and they have their man coverage outside. Trevor's going to have to throw this ball if he's going to get the first down.
Knight looked to the sideline, got the call, and he hits a hot slant. Saunders breaks a tackle, has a lead blocker, slips through. That ball's out! And OU covers up back at the 21-yard line.
Well, Craig, that's the risk you run when you play that type of man coverage. If you're going to stack everybody in the box and force him to throw the ball, with a guy like Jalen Saunders leaving him on man coverage, if he breaks one tackle, he's gone. He's too fast to be able to leave him on the island. A very nice play coming over and knocking the ball loose. But a big play for Oklahoma and a very nice pass by Trevor Knight there.
Jazz Reynolds, number 16, jumped on the loose football. First down at the 21. Middle of that Kansas State front of Shaquille Reed, Travis Britz. Brennan Clay's been a workhorse today. Remember, Damian Williams suspended. Roy Finch has had a few carries along the way, but mostly the load's been carried by number 24.
Well, yeah, 21 carries up to this point in the ballgame. 172 yards and a touchdown. That's a pretty good ball game for most people, and we just started the third quarter.
I formation with Knight and Clay. Clay left side. Patient runner. And he's knocked down at the 16-yard line. How about Oklahoma? 33 straight wins when they rush for 200 or more yards. This season, they're 7-0.
I think the telling thing about that stat is when you're running the ball for 200 yards, you're generally controlling the clock.
Absolutely.
You're controlling the tempo. You're dictating what you want to do. There are very few times when you're running for 200 yards when you're behind because you're generally trying to throw to catch up quickly.
Knight pressured. Throws to the flat. Shepard the tackle or the catch and tackled at the 20-yard line. Dorian Roberts. He was a scout squad member last year, and now he finds himself as a starter at the corner.
Well, he makes a really nice play coming up on the screen by Shepard. They faked the screen to Brennan Clay to the left side, came back and tried to throw the wide receiver screen to Shepard. And Randall Evans came up and made the nice play.
Honeycutt hit a 30-yarder just before halftime to give Oklahoma the lead of 24-21. This will be from 37. Punches it up. Good. Honeycutt for 2. And Oklahoma ups their lead here on the road in Manhattan, 27-21 over Kansas State.
Craig, I got to say, one of my favorite parts of college football are the bands. The bands. The Kansas State, the Wabash Cannonball.
Oh, yeah.
You got it. They were playing when you were here, right? They were playing that song?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's way back in the day. Yeah, the pride of Wildcat land. Oh, things have changed since the old days.
But
I mean, this stadium,
stadium
has grown up.
Well, the stadium may have grown up, and when we go out to dinner like last night, they still know you around here, Craig. You are still the big man on campus around here in Manhattan.
Look what they've done. They've built it up nicely under Bill Snyder's direction. The Snyder Family Stadium, the spot we're in today, the $75 million West Side edition. About as good as it gets in college football. Lockett inside the 5. What a first half he had. And down to the 29-yard line.
Hey, let's check something out here. Let's go back and check out something from earlier. Oh, this was much earlier.
Hey, Craig Bowlerjack, class of '81. Thought I'd drop by.
Any of you guys know a Bowlerjack?
Here. Oh, right there. DU. Good.
Yeah, they finally let me in after I convinced them that I actually did attend college here. Craig Bowlerjack, Joey Harrington, Ryan Neese. Hope you're having a fun Saturday afternoon.
Delta Upsilon.
Yeah. 1425 University Drive. That's some good times there. Lockett on a slant to the 42. Oh my.
Did they have scissors in
No,
81?
no. I'd say the long hair look was that was the way it was back then.
It was the feathered look too.
Yeah, it was very feathered.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was in style, and the big knot.
Did you blow dry it, or was it just natural?
Oh, that's natural.
Yeah.
Now, times have changed since then. Clock's under 10 minutes. Third quarter. On the run. Thompson hits the edge. Past midfield, and he will take a pile of Sooners to the 42-yard line.
Craig, I know the temperatures up in Kansas stay pretty low most of the year. I saw that full head of hair. Forget the beanie. That's how you stay warm. Cover up the ears. You made it look good, man.
That was a trick. Back in those days, man, the longer the better, right?
The flowing locks.
Yes.
I can tell why the women loved you back then, buddy.
Feel like I'm under a roast here today. 259 rushing for Oklahoma, just 21 for Kansas State. Not much. As Hubert is knocked down by Wilson, the nickel. Jake Waters, as you mentioned, Joey, out of Iowa Western. Big shoes to fill. Colin Klein, numerous school records. Heisman finalist. He could run. 23 rushing touchdowns last year. He threw for 16. All day to throw. Middle of the field. Up top. And it's incomplete. Oh, there's a late flag. Frank Shannon. I don't know if he reached in on Tremaine Thompson. Oklahoma doesn't like the call. The middle backer was running with Thompson, and there was some contact down at the 10.
Pass interference, number 20, defense. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Well, this is the tough thing when you get a linebacker running downfield on a wide receiver. And when you don't turn your head, when you've got your back to the ball, any sort of contact is going to be called. Those referees want to see you turn around and make a play. Locate the ball, make a play. Because as a defender, you have every right to the ball as the wide receiver. But you have to turn and show that you're making a play on the ball, not just trying to take out the wideout.
Mike Stoops, brother of Bob, jumping mad, the defensive coordinator for the Sooners. K-State knocking on the door, down 27-21. Thompson wrapped up back at the 26-yard line. Just a gain of 2.
Craig, a moment ago you were talking about Colin Klein. And I mean, what a tremendous player he was for Kansas State. 50 rushing touchdowns, over 2,000 yards on the ground. But what he did so well is he facilitated everybody else. John Hubert was able to thrive because Colin Klein was who he was. And we've seen John Hubert really emerge over the last few games when Daniel Sams has been running the ball.
Lockett. Again, that's one of those jump balls, a little jump and throw by Jake Waters.
Well, we've talked about it a couple times now. You see the Waters, the quarterback, hesitate, and what he's doing is he's reading to see if the linebacker comes up to fill. It's another form of the option. If the linebacker comes up to fill on the run, he throws the ball to the slant behind the void where the linebacker vacated. If the linebacker stays back in coverage, he's simply going to follow his blocker up in the hole.
8th catch for Lockett today, 64 now on the season. Kansas State now working inside the 20-yard line. Little jitter move, and Hubert unable to escape the grasp of Zach Sanchez, the right corner. Let's check in with Ryan.
Joey, one of the ways to differentiate between run and pass and that little trick jump pass play is the offensive lineman. If they cross the line of scrimmage, it's got to be a run, because if they cross the line of scrimmage and it's pass, obviously that's a flag. So the defense has to really be keen in on that, and that's difficult for the offensive lineman to decipher between run and pass on their end. So they run that play very effectively.
Second down and 10. Play clock down to 3. Waters on a keeper left side. Oklahoma stays home, knocks him down hard. Wilson, Julian Wilson again in on the stop.
Hey, Ryan, going back to your point a moment ago, it's a great observation. It's a great point. But what has happened in college football over the last few years is so many teams are employing that run play with the option of throwing a bubble, or the run play with the option of throwing a quick screen. And what you rely on your quarterback making a quick decision, because the O-line has to block run, but they can't get too far down the field. Your quarterback has to be decisive when running those run or pass option plays.
Waters on a low snap in a crowd, throws and reaching in. They're going to call it a catch at the 11-yard line. Tremaine Thompson went down low and dug it out at the 11. Now 4th and 4. And Snyder wants points.
I think that's the right call. In a game like this, you cannot afford to get too far behind Oklahoma. You haven't shown that you've been able to stop their run game consistently, and you run the risk of getting too far behind, and Oklahoma continuing to run the clock, building the league. I like this decision to kick the field goal.
Ian Patterson's in to try the field goal of 28 yards, middle of the field. The kick is up and good from 28. 27-24, Oklahoma.
Hey guys, this is the linebacker right here that Jake Waters is reading on that run-pass option. When he decides to come up and take the block on at the pulling guard, Jake Waters throws the ball right behind him in the slant into the hole that he vacated. This really reminds me of an old-school type of play. It just fits, doesn't it? Just the Kansas State mentality, the old-school Bill Snyder.
Well, you jump and look, and then you kind of slingshot it, find your open man.
Hey, it's not a difficult game. It's about putting the ball into the holes that the defense vacates, and whether you do it by some crazy new scheme or just good old-fashioned football.
No return on the kick. Got a close one in Manhattan, Kansas. OU 20th ranked, up 3 on Kansas State.
Craig and Joy, one of the stars of today's game has been Tyler Lockett. He's been flying around the field as a wide receiver, making big-time plays. He's been on fire, and literally on fire. He was on the sidelines earlier in the first half, had his jacket on, was standing by the heaters to keep warm, and his jacket caught on fire. That may be one of the reasons why he's flying around on the field. Pretty impressive, but I thought that was pretty funny that he caught on fire.
Good thing is they put it out. I'd say who else is on fire is Brennan Clay, a career high 176 yards rushing for Oklahoma. Sooners with the 3-point lead in the football. 5 minutes left here in the third quarter. And a hard run off the left side down to the 27. And Finch, the ball carrier.
Hey, Ryan, I'm sure you've been in these cold weather games. I know my last one, when I was with my last year with the Saints, we were playing in Chicago. I actually stuck those hand warmers to the inside of all my pads, my knee pads, my thigh pads, my shoulder pads, and I covered myself with hand warmers just to try and keep warm on the sideline.
Second down. Kansas State, we talked about adjustments made at halftime. They seem to pick up that read, and they close the hole with Reed and Mueller at the 30-yard line.
Well, yeah, what they've done is earlier in the first half, their defensive ends were getting too wide and too far upfield. They weren't committing. They weren't making a decision. Now they've started to pinch down, close that hole inside, and force the linebackers and safeties to scrape around and make the tackle on the quarterback. But at least they're being decisive on that first bat coming through the hole in the option.
Crowd is loud on 3rd down and 5. Quick throw, slant, caught. That's how you quiet a crowd. Saunders, and he rolls to the 38-yard line, a pickup of 8.
Well, that's the exact same play they ran earlier when Saunders caught that slant on the run and took it up the left sideline. The difference, though, is that on the ball earlier, Trevor Knight delivered an accurate ball that he could continue to run with. That time, Jalen Saunders made a nice catch, but he had to go down low to secure the ball.
4 wide receivers set, fresh downs at the 37. Quick throw. And the ball caught by Saunders. Kip Daly knocked him out, number 7, the corner. Trevor Knight, impressive. Blake Bell, if he joined us late, concussed last week in the second quarter against Iowa State. He was out warming up today. We thought in a way maybe decoyed Kansas State a little bit. And Trevor Knight's gone the entire way. Blake will not play. Clay rumbles to the Kansas State 47.
But Craig, I think the important thing to remember is that Trevor Knight is not just some freshman coming off the bench here. He was the starter coming out of camp, and he got hurt week 2 against West Virginia, which allowed Blake Bell to come in, who threw for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns against Tulsa, and he didn't give the job up. But Trevor Knight is an extremely talented player, as he's shown today, not only with his legs, but his arm as well.
That was a 24th carry for Clay. He picks up another 10. Quick throw, slant, ball's up, and nearly intercepted. It was off the hand of Saunders and Dorian Roberts. Now, you run that tip drill all the time in practice, and he nearly had it just a little bit out of his reach, and he's down.
Well, yeah, this is the difference. We talked about it a moment ago. When Saunders caught the slant on the last drive, it was right in his chest, and he could keep running. Now twice, he's been a little bit low on the slant, and Saunders wasn't able to continue running. This time, he was a little bit high on the slant, and the ball gets tipped up and nearly intercepted.
Roberts tried to get up, but then he goes back down. Oh, we got the breath knocked out of him. Came down hard on that right shoulder. Out of Wichita, Kansas. And he's up. What? Joey, over 700 yards of offense. So far, less than 3/4 of football between Oklahoma and Kansas State.
Does it say something about college football in the Big 12 conference that I'm not surprised? I mean, it's almost become commonplace.
Second down and 10 for Oklahoma. Knight. That's been his go-to pass on that quick, hot, on a string pass. Reynolds, a pickup of 8. Time for a Lowe's Never Stop Improving game break. Let's check in now with Patrick O'Neill.
All right, Craig, thanks very much. Well, number 13, Michigan State expected to beat Northwestern. Spartans perfect in the Big Ten. Northwestern does not have a win. There's a great pass, Connor Cook to Josiah Price, 15 yards. If the Spartans win, well, they clinch a spot in the Big Ten championship game. Craig, Joey, and Ryan, back to you.
All right, Patrick, looks like Michigan State, the guys in green and white, are on their way. Here is 27-24 Oklahoma. Under 2 minutes left. Sooners driving. There's that read option by Knight. Needed 2 yards. He got maybe 1. Good play. Jonathan Truman, the Will weak side linebacker, came up to stop him.
Well, nice job here, just filling the hole. Blake Slaughter getting in, coming in right there at the end to keep Trevor Knight from pushing the pile. The design quarterback power off the right side. He tried to cut it back against the grain, and Blake Slaughter freed himself from a block to come in and finish that play off.
Let's listen in. 4th and short. Knight to the sticks. Got about a half a yard. Knight's been impressive. Redshirt freshman, 6'1", 200-pounder.
Well, I mean, look at this. Ryan Mueller has this defended. Ryan Mueller, Trey Walker has the guy in the flat defended. He's just simply too fast and turns the corner to get the first down.
Well, the crowd just saw the replay on the big screen. They don't like the spot. And they're going to review it. You saw the 2 coaches. There's Bob Stoops, Bill Snyder. So they're going to take a look upstairs. Jim Blackwood, the replay official. Did he step out before he got to the stick?
Foot. Ooh, there it is. But it's not where his foot is, remember. It's where the ball is when his foot goes out of bounds. So where is the ball? Right there. The ball was in his right hand, Craig.
I tell you, this angle's difficult. I don't know if I want to be Jim Blackwood right now trying to decide, or if there's evidence.
I mean, his foot is obviously behind the marker. But can you determine where the ball is when his foot hits out of bounds? This looks like a good angle right here. There, pause it right there. Is it definitive? Is it clear enough to overturn? I don't know from the angles that we've seen that there's enough video evidence to overturn that call.
A long look by Jim Blackwood.
Well, he's got an important call to make.
That's absolutely.
I mean, this is a big turning point in this ball game if he does not get this first down. A gutsy call by Bob Stoops. Near midfield, a freshman quarterback. A 3-point lead on the road. You do not want to let this Kansas State crowd get back into the ballgame. We saw what they did once they got a little momentum with Tyler Lockett and Jake Waters through the air. This crowd was going crazy. You do not want to allow these fans here in Manhattan to have an effect over this ballgame. You've seen those guys, Craig. You know what we're talking about.
26 at game time. Just a warm, blustery day.
It's a warm 26.
Yes, it is. Now the sun came out. It was very cloudy this morning. Winds are still blowing. It's kind of shifted. It was a little right to left. Now it's going left to right. Here's the call.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands.
Well, there's the difference. By saying the ruling on the field stands, he is saying that there was not enough evidence to overturn it. If he said the ruling was confirmed, that would be saying, look, this is what we saw. It is absolutely correct. But by saying it stands, he's saying there's not enough evidence to overturn it. Therefore, we're going with what we called on the field.
And it's a first down for Oklahoma. Under a minute to play in the third. They're inside Kansas State territory now at the 37-yard line. Knight, quick play action. Stutters his feet, a flag is out. He'll run to the sideline and then jump and toss it away, but a flag back at the 45. Got a Sooner coming up mighty slow. That's Tyrus Thompson.
Holding, so 79 offense, 10-yard penalty, replay.
Injured player is the left tackle. Darrell Williams, the right tackle, was called for the hold. Thompson, a junior, 6'5", 320. And now we've got a timeout. We'll step aside. 27-24, OU.
Guys, as we were watching this replay, Tyrus Thompson gets his right ankle rolled up on and ends the sideline. But right here, Darrell Williams, watch him pull a Roddy Piper clothesline against Ryan Mueller right here. Just got him wrapped up around the neck. That's where the hold comes. And here's what it does: is it knocks your freshman quarterback out of field goal range. He made this great play to dive and get the first down, get yourself into field goal range, and now you're back almost to the 50-yard line. 1st and 20. You got to dig yourself out of a hole.
Now the ball is back at the 46.5-yard line. Knight shotgun. Nice spin, not much. Clay buried at the 45, maybe 2 yards, and a good hit by Truman, and guess who? Mr. Mueller.
Well, Craig, we were talking all first half about 2nd and 3, 2nd and 2. Now you're 2nd and 15, and this is a much, much different situation for Trevor Knight. He's going to have to throw the ball here, and he's shown this ability to throw the ball a little bit more here in the second half. But he's going to have to take the team on his shoulders here and convert this first down through the air.
They're going to let the third quarter clock run down on a chilly, cold day in Manhattan. Oklahoma, Kansas State, great Big 12 battle here on Fox Sports 1. Oh, what a day it's been in cold Kansas, Manhattan, Kansas, the Little Apple. Lockett shipped. Oh, yes, what a day he's had. Lockett's 8 receptions, 227, 3 touchdowns, and big play Clay. Brennan Clay has ripped through Kansas State's defense. Clay has rolled up 187 yards on the ground, and we got a ball game. 15 minutes left, 27-24. Oklahoma now looking at 2nd down and 19 at the 45 of Kansas State. Tough catch right over the middle. Saunders. Ball's out. Ball came out at the 35. Finch, number 22. Oklahoma's been lucky a couple times today. Fumbles have come out. They've recovered 2, and they've got this one back at the 35.
Well, that's the 2nd time that Jalen Saunders has caught a slant over the middle, tried to extend the play. and fumbled at the end of it. The first time he broke it big up the left sideline and got it popped out. This time he makes a nice catch in traffic and then just takes a hit. And the ball comes loose. Great job by Randall Evans putting his face mask right on the ball and popping it out.
Now it's 3rd down and 11. Kansas State walking up a blitzer. Now he backs off on the edge. Here he comes. Knight flush down to the pocket. Throws, and it's incomplete. Down around the 25-yard line.
Hey, Ryan, a great hit by Randall Evans earlier. What did your dad used to call these?
He called those a slobber knocker, Joey. When you bring the wood like that, man, you get excited. It lights up your sidelines. Those are the kinds of plays you get excited about as a defensive guy. I got to see more of those today.
Well, of course, Ryan's dad, the all-pro, all-everything, the big hitter, Ronnie Lott.
Had a few slobber knockers in his day.
Yes, he did. Barnett's going to try to punch it inside the 10. He hangs it up, and the ball takes a wicked bounce back at the 3. Great punt. Barnett does his job. Now Oklahoma's defense will have to do theirs against Kansas State.
Flipped on its head. I think Bryce Petty has the chance to win the Heisman over the next couple weeks. And frankly, I think that Johnny Manziel, yeah, he threw for 5 touchdowns against Mississippi State, but he threw 3 interceptions. Sure, he threw 5 touchdowns against Alabama, but he threw 2 picks, threw a pick 6, threw an interception in the end zone. He's having to dig himself out of these holes and make the great plays because he's throwing interceptions early. I don't think that he needs to be at the top of that list right now.
We'll find out over the next couple of weeks. Kansas State deep in their own territory. Out of the pocket comes Waters. Dominique Alexander, true freshman out of Tulsa, Booker T. Washington High School. 6'2", 216-pounder, 62 tackles. This kid was in high school, Joey, a year ago. Now on the big stage at Oklahoma.
Well, yeah, he had to take over for the injured Corey Nelson, hurt his pec against TCU. And all he's done since taking over is he's had 52 tackles in 5 games. He had 19 tackles against Texas. I mean, the kid is playing fantastic football for Oklahoma.
A pickup of maybe a yard, 2nd and long. Ball's up in the air, and an over-the-shoulder try by Lockett falls incomplete. He had one-on-one coverage with Colvin, the left corner.
Well,
that brings up 3rd down.
Well, here's the difference. They tried that double move again with Lockett, but this time they were doing it on Colvin instead of the freshman. See how Colvin doesn't bite so hard to the inside? He gets his hips turned a little bit, but he's able to recover. Colvin has tremendous hips. He's able to turn and break really in an instant. I mean, I love watching Aaron Colvin play. Great open field tackler, had a couple nice tackles against Baylor. This kid's a very good corner.
Joey, big play here for Kansas State. 3rd and 10 deep in their own territory. Waters in his end zone, throws it high and through the hands of Tremaine Thompson. And that brings up 4th down in a punting situation. Oklahoma should have 5 field position here early in the 4th quarter.
And this was a great decision by Jake Waters. Great decision throwing what's they've called a back shoulder fade. He's running up the sideline, Tremaine Thompson, but the coverage is very good by Quentin Hayes. And so he says, you know what? I can't get over the top of him, but what I can do is I can stop him with the throw. And Tremaine Thompson, yes, the ball's high, but you got to make that tough catch.
Mark Krause needs a punt. He's on the back line of that end zone. Low snap. Got it away. High hanger short, taken on the run. Saunders, 10, dives to the pylon, and he's out of bounds at the 3-yard line. He had a head of steam running up on that punt, and Oklahoma can turn this game to their advantage in a big way, in a big hurry.
Well, big play by Saunders. Great decision. Watch, it's a short field to kick with right here. The punter's right on the back of his end line, but he's kicking into the wind, and he doesn't catch it clean, so it's such a short kick. Most returners will let it bounce, but Saunders sees that, takes a beeline right here, comes up into the middle of everything, catches the ball, and has nothing but green grass to run. Great decision on coming up and catching it and not leaving it up to the bounce of the ball. Jalen Saunders has set his offense up for a great touchdown here.
Joe, as you know, field position so important, especially in tight games down the stretch. A bad punt. And now Oklahoma with a chance to punch it in at the 12:59 mark here in the fourth.
I got to come back to this, Craig. I mean, there are very few punt returners in this country that would have the guts to run up and catch that. You see him make that safe signal. They're yelling, Peter, Peter, get away from it. And then you're just leaving it up to the bounce of the ball. Jalen Saunders says, you know what? I can make a play, I can catch this, and I can set our team up for a great momentum-turning play in this game. That was a gutsy play to come up and make that catch, but it paid off big.
He went for 91, don't forget, last week against Iowa State. Got that great speed, great field sense, and look at him reach. Went out of bounds at the 3. Joey, it's amazing when you watch the game of football. 1 or 2 plays, possession and also field position. Kansas State unable to dig themselves out of a deep hole. A poor punt. Now Oklahoma right at the 3-yard line. 4 possessions, 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals in the red zone. Clay dances outside, stiffs arms, and into the end zone. Touchdown, Sooners. Well, a PAT yet to come can make it a 10-point Sooner lead. Money cut and splits the uprights. It all began with the Jalen Saunders return. He runs it up and takes it back to the 3-yard line off the punt, and then Clay takes it the final 3 yards. Sooners up 10 on the road. Back in Manhattan, Saunders set up that touchdown on that punt return, and Ryan, you used to go on that secondary or that special teams play, college and pros. What happened here?
Craig and Joey, when we're watching that special teams play, there's 2 sayings. When you're even, you're leaving. When you relax, you get beat. And on that return, all of a sudden, Kansas State's unit, they relaxed, they got beat. They were even with the return man Saunders, and he was leaving them down the field.
Lockett, watch out. Pulled down, multiple flags. He was hit up high, horse collar, far side of the field at the 45-yard line.
Personal foul, horse collar tackle, number 10 to the kicking team. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the return.
Quentin Hayes has not had a good day in the secondary or on special teams for Oklahoma.
No, he hasn't. But Tyler Lockett has had a phenomenal day. And with that kickoff return, he now tops the school list in kickoff return yards. He's already the career leader in kickoff return average in the Big 12. Averaging 30 yards every time he catches the ball on a kickoff. I mean, this guy's explosive. We've talked about how he's emerged as a all Big 12 wide receiver, but he started as an explosive kick returner here as a freshman.
Important series on the offensive side for Kansas State, down 10 on their home field with just under 13 minutes left. Waters throws, ball is tipped and then finally caught. Lockett picked up about 7 yards the hard way. College football continues today on Fox Sports 1. Rivals collide. Cal battling 9th-ranked Stanford, while over on Fox, Arizona State takes on UCLA, 2 top-ranked teams in the key Pac-12 South matchup. In the nightcap, Kansas and Iowa State. Fox Sports, your home for college football all season long. Second down and 4. Quick throw. Joy, you've mentioned a couple of times today, for a wide receiver on a cold day, how tough is it to catch that ball?
Well, I wonder. This is the second time in a row that Tyler Lockett has had the ball bounce off his hands. The ball just gets hard in the cold weather. It's not as soft and pliable and sticky as it is when it's 103 degrees like it was the first time we came here to Manhattan. Yeah, when it's 20 degrees out, that ball firms up. Yeah, absolutely. And it's tough to catch a rock that's coming at you, 30 miles an hour.
1 of 6 on third down conversions for Kansas State. Low snap picked up. Waters throws. Ball picked off. Sanchez has lead blockers. He's at the 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Oklahoma. How about the escort? Sanchez head into the end zone for Oklahoma.
How about Sanchez, the young man who was beat on the double move by Tyler Lockett earlier in the ball game, coming up with a big play. What Oklahoma does here is they run an all-out blitz. They bring one more guy than Kansas State can block and leave their corners out on an island. Jake Waters anticipates the throw, but what he does is he throws it on the wrong shoulder and throws it on the shoulder that's closest to Zach Sanchez. He makes a nice play on the ball, and from there, smooth sail into the end zone.
What was a close game, Oklahoma now has punched a hole through it on this return by Sanchez. A wall of blockers follow. 41-24 Sooners. Minutes, key plays that change this game around. Saunders on the short punt takes it to the 3-yard line. And then Clay rumbles the final 3 as he punches it in. And then a moment ago, it's a pick 6 by Sanchez, Joey. How about the host of blockers who escort him to the end zone, finds a little hole and goes 74 yards. 41-24 Oklahoma.
Well, he had that host of blockers because they were all in the backfield. That was what they ran. They ran an all-out blitz, forcing Jake Waters to get the ball out of his hands early. The corner knew it was going to come out quick, and he was sitting right and waiting for it.
Lockett can change this game in a hurry. Sheds a tackler into the 45-yard line. Quentin Hayes with the tackle. Well, the Big 12, Baylor stands alone, undefeated in conference play. Joey, and overall, Oklahoma State will battle tonight the Bears. Texas hoping for an opportunity. Oklahoma just has to continue to win and hope that something happens along the way.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of things that have to happen for Oklahoma to get back on top of this and end up in a four-way tie there at the top. But Baylor has a huge ball game in Stillwater tonight, not just for Baylor and their chances to get into this national championship, for Bryce Petty as well. I mean, this young man has a chance to jump to the forefront of the Heisman Trophy discussion with a big game on the road on national television tonight.
Low snap, pitch and catch near side. Lockett at the 50-yard line. It's forward progress. They're going to mark him in Sooner territory at the 48. Be second down and call it 2. Lockett now has set a school record for receiving yards. 240. 241.
Well, broke his own record that he set earlier this year against Texas with 237.
Waters runs, ball's tipped. And Quentin Hayes, who's had an up and down game, put his hand up and tipped it away. There's Lockett's numbers: 10 catches, 241, 3 touchdowns. And as you mentioned, he breaks his own school record of 237, now 241, and it belongs to Tyler Lockett.
Well, yeah, against Texas earlier in the year, he did it on 13 catches without a touchdown. Tonight, he does it on 10 catches with 3 touchdowns.
All important 3rd down and 2. They catch Oklahoma substituting. And that force Stoops to burn a timeout.
30 seconds in line.
So Stoops calls a timeout. He's got 2 left, as does Kansas State. Time now for the Nissan Heisman Watch. Now, we talked about what Facebook voters believe who the front runner for the Heisman was. And Joey, these are your picks, and you go up top with A.J. McCarron.
Well, I think these 4 guys are all in the picture right now. I don't think Johnny Manziel deserves to be in the top 3 right now. He, like I said, 3 interceptions last week against Mississippi State, 2 costly interceptions in the loss against Alabama. And what did A.J. McCarron do in that game against Texas A&M? He only threw 4 touchdowns with no picks. I mean, this guy has been rock solid all year and does not get the credit he deserves. We know about Jameis Winston. Marcus Mariota had a little bit of a slip up, but let's not take him out of the discussion for throwing for 250 and 2 touchdowns with no interceptions. But Bryce Petty is the guy who I think can really jump to the forefront of this discussion with a big game tonight.
Ryan, are you a believer it's how you finish in November?
It's all on how you finish in November. The Heisman is won in November, and that's why Manziel has a chance, because he's got some big games lined up, and he's going to continue to dazzle. I know he has a few blemishes, Joey, but this guy's a playmaker.
Well, the voting has been open, and you've got a couple of weeks if you're a Heisman voter before they close. A lot of football left to be played. Waters throws, and a saving touchdown tackle on a shoestring top. Sanchez grabbed the foot of Thompson and saved him from breaking a big play.
Well, I want to go back to what Ryan said about being a playmaker. Yeah, Johnny Manziel is a playmaker. But the reality is that he's had to make plays late in the games because of mistakes that he's made early in them. And while he shows up a lot on your highlight reel because he does those amazing things, you can't ignore the fact that he throws 3 interceptions, or that he threw 2 very costly interceptions against Alabama.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
False start, Cody Whitehair. Hey, how about a game break? Let's go to Los Angeles. Check in now with Patrick O'Neill.
Let's take you quickly to Tuscaloosa, where top-ranked Alabama is hosting the Chattanooga Mocs. This is Christian Jones taking it 75 yards, punt return all the way to the house, makes it 21-0 Bama. Many people mocking Bama for scheduling Chattanooga, an FCS school, but next week, Craig, tougher against Auburn. Back to you.
Patrick, interesting. Yeah, you hear a lot of controversy on some teams who do schedule light, I should say, against lesser opponents in the final week or 2 of the regular season, kind of a warm-up before that final push.
Well, that's what the SEC has historically done, is schedule a softer non-conference team at this point in the season.
I guess you could look at it either way. I mean, whether it's a confidence builder or you just taking a week off. Kind of a bye week, but not really. Kansas State going back to work. Pressure from the edge. On the run, Waters, big throw, big first down conversion, and Lockett makes the catch at the 29-yard line. Tip your hat to Waters, who felt that backside pressure, ran, and threw that ball on a string.
Well, watch Eric Stryker here, 19. He's going to come off the edge, and he's going to keep coming, keep coming, keep coming. This guy does not stop. Like you said, Jake Waters feels that pressure, continues to move away from him. If he had waited 1 more second, that would have been a big sack for Eric Stryker.
Fresh downs, under 10 minutes left for Kansas State. Down by a count of 41-24. Waters hit. That ball falls incomplete down around the 15-yard line. And it was Charles Tapper, number 91, bringing pressure.
Well, Craig, that's what's so great about this Oklahoma defense. They only have 2 seniors, and everybody gets involved. Last time we're calling Eric Stryker. This time it's Charles Tapper. 8 different guys on this team have interceptions. Excuse me, 9 now that Sanchez got one. 13 players have sacks. 18 players have tackles for loss. The wealth is spread all over the place for this Oklahoma defense.
Second down. Waters stands and throws far side. Lockett's got it. One-on-one. Dances out of a tackle and reaches out to the 10-yard line. First down, Kansas State. Aaron Colvin missed the initial hit, and then Quentin Hayes came over, and Lockett's big day continues. Pickup of 18.
Well, Jake Waters is going to have opportunities to continue to throw those passes because Mike Stoops is not the type of defensive coordinator who's going to sit back and play coverage. I mean, he's an aggressive play caller. He's going to continue to call defenses, single high safeties, bringing pressure off the edge, up the middle. That's his MO. I mean, that's how Oklahoma plays from start to finish.
Lock it out. Terrell Miller checks in for Kansas State. On the ground, nice cut. Hubert inside the 10 and rumbles to the 6-yard line. Frank Shannon makes a tackle, the middle linebacker, number 20. Hubert's been kind of quiet today. Most of the damage done by the Lockett-Waters combination. Lockett now, Joey, these are numbers you would appreciate as a quarterback. 12 catches, 278. Makes your day look good, too, as a QB.
Makes it easy for a quarterback when your wideout's doing that much work.
Waters on a keeper inside the 5, down to the 3. Clock rolls up on 8 minutes. What a day. 278, 162 return, 440 all-purpose yards.
Well, he's a horse collar tackle away from getting a touchdown, another 60 yards onto those return yardage.
Wildcats can get a first down. They need to get to the 1. And now we got a flag out. Everyone points to one another. Who drew who off? Here's Allen Eck.
Ball start, number 73, offense. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
That's Rooks, the right tackle.
And Craig, I'm not so sure that he wasn't drawn to jump. The defensive end on that side, who was lined up over the top of Rooks, moved on the hard count. Here he is right there. And the rule is if the defender is in your gap or lined head up on you and moves and you react, then the penalty is on the defender. I'm not sure they missed that call there.
To the end zone. Flag. Lockett, the intended receiver, got locked up with Colvin.
Pass interference.
Yeah, pulled down his right arm.
All right, 1st down.
A well-thrown ball by Jake Waters. It was good coverage by Aaron Colvin, and Jake Waters threw the ball on his left shoulder away from coverage. And he went up to put his hands up to get it and couldn't get his arm past the hold of Aaron Colvin there. It was a good call and a really nice throw by Jake Waters.
Fifth flag against Oklahoma for 53 yards. Kansas State, 4 flags for 24. First and goal, Kansas State at the 2. Hubert. Hear those pads pop. He tried to spin out of a tackle, and he's hit and dropped by Alexander, the outside linebacker.
Well, Craig, at a certain point, you have to worry about the clock here.
Absolutely.
You know, you're down 17 points. Yeah, you're knocking on the door, but Kansas State has to start picking up this tempo here if they're going to have enough time to try and get back into this ballgame. I'm surprised with how long they're taking getting in and out of the huddle.
I would agree. Work a little faster. Deep in the backfield is Hubert, and under center goes Waters. Play clock to 5. Play clock to 2. Hubert. Middle of the field. Still trying to push in, and they're going to mark him down at the 1-yard line. Gabe Lynn and a host of Sooners jumped on his back.
Hey, Craig, it looked like Jake Waters was trying to call the direction of the run based on the front for Oklahoma. But at a certain point, you just got to get it and go. You know, you're a yard away. You got to trust that your O-linemen are going to create 1 yard of space to get in the end zone, and you got to worry about this clock.
3rd down and goal. Touchdown, Kansas State. K-State's front line got behind their QB and pushed him on through.
Well, you got your 1 yard of space right there. Very nice job by B.J. Finney and his O-line teammates there, creating the space for Jake Waters to sneak into the end zone.
Patterson will try the extra point to make it a 2-score game at the 6:10 mark. Well, Kansas State, Joey, burned a lot of time on that drive, and it's up and it's good. It's a 41-31 game. 20th ranked Oklahoma up 10 on the road on Fox Sports 1. Day of emotion, day of big plays here in Manhattan. Oklahoma trying to keep their Big 12 title hopes alive. It's razor thin, but they're up on the road, 41-31. They punch that kickoff, and Oklahoma covers up down at the 34-yard line. Clay, part of that good hands team, came up.
You know, Craig, what I think they were trying to do is pop a little pooch kick behind that second line. Oklahoma had their hands team out there anticipating the onside kick. Maybe you get a ball that bounces on the ground in the wind there. But I think you got to go with the onside kick. I really do. I think you have to go with the direct onside. With the way that Oklahoma has been running the football today, there may be the chance that you don't see this ball again.
I thought the wind could play a factor too. You punch it in and you hope you get a little wild bounce.
Exactly.
It's swirling down on the field, but instead Oklahoma's got the football, a 10-point lead at their own 34-yard line. K-State with 2 timeouts, Oklahoma with 2 timeouts. And now a delay of game looks to be the call. Was it a timeout?
Oh, I think Bob Stoops got the timeout here.
Just got it.
To the play clock expiring. Timeout. Oklahoma, their second charge of the half.
So instead of 2, let's take 1 off. It's 1 remaining. 1 timeout remaining for Oklahoma. Time for our Right Stuff Player of the Game, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Well, you could take your pick between Brennan Clay and Trevor Knight, but Brennan Clay coming up on 200 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground has been a workhorse for Oklahoma in the absence of Damian Williams. You know, you thought that Oklahoma's running game might take a little bit of a drop, but boy, it's been just as explosive as ever. You got to give him a lot of credit for the way he's running the football today.
Over 7 yards a carry, 190 yards on 26 carries and 2 touchdowns. 6:08 left, 1st down and 10 after the timeout. Slaughter makes a tackle on Clay. Joy, one of the big parts of this game is the fact OU has been able to hit some big plays on 1st down.
Well, yeah, they've been in 2nd and short. That was what enabled OU to be so explosive in that first half, was they were sitting in 2nd and 3 and 2nd and 2. And you can take shots on 2nd down and short because you know you have a 3rd down and short coming up if you miss it. Kansas State has done a nice job in the 2nd half of forcing OU into longer 2nd and 3rd yardage situations, but it hasn't been enough.
Quick hit. Clay stacked up, no gain, 40-yard line. And the countdown, the clock is on, Bob Stoops. And what I mean by that, last week's win against Iowa State tied Switzer, Barry Switzer, for most wins at Oklahoma with 157. 158 would give him the top spot at OU.
And that's a pretty elite company right there.
5 minutes away.
Barry Switzer with a couple national championships himself. Bob Stoops with one in his
2000.
2nd year. Absolutely, his 2nd year at
And
Oklahoma.
he made a splash, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Young coach, Big 12. 3rd and 4. Quick hit. Deron Neal, 1st down midfield.
Hey, I got to say this about Trevor Knight. He's missed a couple balls, a little inaccurate. Right here on the outside, has single coverage. They stack the box to take Brendan Clay away, and he steps in and delivers a strike right into the chest of Neal. Great throw by Trevor Knight, the young freshman doing a great job of moving the chains for Oklahoma and now taking more time off the clock.
Oklahoma satisfied to run the play clock. It's under 10. And coming up on 4 minutes left. K-State spreads it, and a little slip on that cutback. And Clay takes the fall, maybe he'll lose a yard. Back to the 48.
Well, yardage at this point is inconsequential. It's that clock that keeps going tick, 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 tick.
It's moving fast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Under 4. Make sure you stay close. Cal, Stanford, number 9 in the country. Next on Fox Sports 1. Well, we see some fantastic football today. Clay, individual play with Clay and Lockett. Clay for Oklahoma, Lockett for Kansas State. Clay locked up again, and he's thrown back for another loss at the 46-yard line. Let's get a check and talk with Ryan Neese.
Joey Craig, Kansas State defense has to find a way to step up. That was a nice play right there, but at the same time, you got to have a sense of urgency. You got to get the ball back to your offense. You want to see these guys start raking the ball out, trying to force a fumble. They got to do everything they can to stop this drive right now.
Yeah, they need it right now. 3rd down and 14. Again, they work the play clock. They milk it to 5. Knight, a handoff. Big hole, stutter, step move by Clay, and he's knocked down short of the first down at the 46-yard line. Barnett and Slaughter made the tackle, and Kansas State's going to use a timeout. One timeout remains for both Oklahoma and Kansas State. So Clay does hit the 200-yard mark. .31 carries, and he's a slow walk off the field.
And that is not what you want to see.
Nope, left ankle. That's a long day's work. He's had some hard runs. Kansas State still breathing with 2:41 left, down 10. Thompson back to receive the punt. And that ball floats with the wind behind into the end zone.
Hey guys, you can see already Brendan Clay's left ankle is taped up and spattered over the top of his shoe, and it looks like it just gets pinched right under this tackle here. I mean, guys that have their ankles taped over the top of their shoes, they call it spat. You know, Ryan Neese and the guys on defense used to do it just for a fashion statement.
It's a fashion, yeah, it's fashion.
But you do it on both. You do it on both feet, Ryan, not just one. If you only do it on one, you're guarding against an injury, isn't that right?
You're right. We did spat up both of our ankles to make it look good. If you look good, you play good. But when you spat up one, obviously you have an injury, and you could see that with Clay.
Crunch time for Kansas State. Waters, marvelous job quarterbacking the Cats, but he's sacked back at the 10-yard line.
Second down 18 from the 12.
Clock runs up on 2 minutes. 2nd down and 18. Big play needed as Waters dance in the pocket, has time, up over the top he goes. And it's picked off by Hayes.
And there's the ultimate redemption. There is the payoff, the nail in the coffin by the guy who gave up a few big plays early in the game. You know what? You got to give you got to give Hayes a lot of credit. Ryan talked about it earlier. He's a junior. He's one of the more experienced players on this defense, and you need to be able to put those bad plays out of your mind, come back and make a play for your team. That's exactly what Hayes did there. Give him a lot of credit. Very nice play on the ball by Quentin Hayes.
Waters went to the middle of the field, Joey. He threw into triple coverage, and Tremaine Thompson was his intended receiver. But you're right. He's been barked at a few times on the field today. And I'm speaking of Quentin Hayes, but he comes up with the big play at the 2-minute mark. Roy Finch to the 40-yard line, and the clock runs. And Stoops is closing in on win number 158.
How about that on the sideline?
I love it. Waters being consoled.
Well, Daniel Sams coming up to him.
You know what? They're
Daniel
roommates. They're roommates.
You know, we talked about it at the beginning of the game. In a lot of different places around the country, this would be a quarterback controversy. Here in Kansas State, with the environment that Coach Bill Snyder has instilled, it's a strength. It's a way for the team to come together and show selflessness. Daniel Sams, who ran for nearly 200 yards against Baylor, has hardly seen the field today. It's been Jake Waters through the air. But that doesn't stop Daniel Sams from giving some consolation to his teammate.
There's Bob Stoops. Joey, what's this do for Bob Stoops and just his status as a head coach in college football? Oklahoma, 158 wins after today, pushes him past Switzer for all time.
Wow. There aren't too many active head coaches right now that have the resume that Bob Stoops does. I mean, to win a national championship in your second year, he's averaging 10 wins a season. I mean, the guy has had the longevity, the success over such a long period of time at Oklahoma. That's unheard of in college football, and you have to tip your cap to Bob Stoops and the program that he has built here at Oklahoma.
Well, you can now crown him as the winningest coach in Oklahoma football history. 158.
They're chasing him with the Gatorade bath. He's running away from it. He didn't want to get wet on this cold day.
Two class coaches, Bill Snyder on your left, Stoops on your right. 15th year for Stoops, 22nd year for Bill Snyder, his second stop in Manhattan, and a good fight today between the reigning Big 12 champion, Kansas State. Oklahoma still in the hunt. They've got a 9-2 record and 5-2 in Big 12 play. For Joey Harrington and Ryan Neese, Craig Bullerjack wishing you a good afternoon from Manhattan, where once again the final score, it's a 41-31 win for OU. Following the short break, we'll take you to Rob Stone at the Fox College Football Studios in LA. You've been watching Fox College Football, presented by Kay Jewelers on Fox Sports 1.